You cannot escape Kingdom in Valorant. They are everywhere. Every map you go to, you'll find them at work. So much so that some Valorant Protocol agents use their equipment. And even you, yes you, can buy Valorant branded skins in game. Talk about having such a strong influence that you can break the fourth wall. But the question is, how did they get so strong? Well, today we'll talk about Kingdom's growth to dominance, connection to maps, to agents, and see if they're truly the evil final boss the agents have to take down. Kingdom started off as an energy company, but everything changed during the events of the First Light. It has been believed that this is when radianite was first introduced to Earth, but as we'll discuss later in this video, that may not be true. Nonetheless, continued research into radianite led to the discovery of its energy potential as being somewhat clean, safe, and efficient. Nonetheless, thanks to this discovery, Kingdom has been able to power 3/4 of the world with it. To put that in context, think about how rich the Middle East is, and because of their black gold called oil. Put all that wealth and power into Amazon, and you will have a Kingdom organization we know as of today. They've been able to branch into other industries like apparel, food, weapons, and scientific discoveries in health, energy. Basically, if you can buy it, Kingdom has touched it in some form or way. Now, I have been very careful up to this point picking my words when naming Kingdom. This is because there's currently two in the Valorant lore. One called the Kingdom Corporation, which is what most people know them as on Alpha Earth. The other is called Kingdom Industries, who are found on Omega Earth. There are a few differences between the two, which you can see in their logo as well as the color of the containers holding radianite. Where on Alpha Earth, it's a shade of green, and Omega Earth is orange. The contrast is even more apparent when we look at Fracture, a map and facility where both companies once worked together on a radiant collider that could have solved Omega Earth's radianite issues. We know that Chamber and his counterpart put a stop to that. Nonetheless, this is the point where the morality of both Kingdom companies become blurred. Many people on Alpha Earth have mixed feelings about the Kingdom Corporation. One hand, they have saved many lives, provided the world with a cleanish and safest energy source, as well as employ people with jobs to support families. The positives can be seen within the protocol too, which we'll get later into. However, many, and not just those in the protocol, but worldwide, dislikes them. The Kingdom Corporation has a habit of going into communities and changing their culture, as well as doing dangerous experiments that affects the lives of many, including those on the Valorant team as well, which has led many people to believe that Kingdom is the overarching bad guys. However, if that was the case, then why would they even work with Omega Earth to find a solution to their problems? If Chamber never broke the collider, then Omega Earth agents would most likely not invade Alpha Earth to steal radianite. If you look at Fracture, then you'll see the tale of two sides. One that is luscious, which represents Alpha Earth, and the other, a lot more barren, which tells a bit about Omega Earth's situation. The posters let us know that Omega Earth is desperate. Some of their inhabitants live in an underwater support dome, thanks to the help of radianite. We can assume that these domes were made with the help of the Kingdom Industries, too. If the Kingdom Corporation was so evil, why even help their counterparts? This leads me to believe that maybe they're not as bad as we may think. Don't get me wrong, they've done a lot of messed up things, but if you're so big that you supply billions of people with energy and jobs, it'll be hard to keep track of everything that your employees and subdivisions do within a company. It's like that old question, does one bad apple spoil the batch? If a manager at McDonald's is a bigot, does that mean everyone who ever worked at that establishment is a sexist or a racist? No, of course not. I think of Kingdom as an anti-villain or hero, more like Dr. Doom than the Punisher, where they may mean well, but their actions aren't always morally good. Shoot, look at the Valorant protocol itself, which currently has less than 50 agents. Not everyone on that team is what I would call a good guy. Some of their methods can be pretty crude. With how large both the Kingdom companies are, it wouldn't be fair to lump them as purely evil. It's not a black and white situation. There's a lot of gray on this topic towards them. The big bad could be the person or people who hired Chamber or ISA, or that thing that caused fate to see the end of both worlds.
Brimstone, the nightmare came to me with a vision, different from the rest. I saw the walls holding our world together fall apart. I felt the wind go still. I could smell the bitterness of blood and bile. I heard small, uncertain voices crying out. and I could taste the fear. There was so much of it, like the whole planet had fever. So I climbed. I climbed this tall cliff. It was jagged as bone, stretching up, dizzying. But with broken fingers, I reached the top and saw the end of our time. A silent window, stretching over the ocean, filled with dead faces. And then I woke up. Brimstone, I have seen many things in my line of work, but we must not let this come to pass.
I think we'll go in depth on that topic in a different video, but for now, let's focus on Kingdom and their influence. Like Bind, where they built a radianite refinery. We can hear through Viper's voice line that Kingdom's time in Morocco wasn't exactly what they promised.
The lies we've told this city. Just to pry it open and suck it dry.
This will be a common theme with Kingdom, where they go into new areas, ignoring the cultural and historic aspect of the places they slowly take over.
But first, I would deeply appreciate it if you considered liking and subscribing to this channel, as well as be a member in the future. I have these subscriber milestone goals. At 1K, we'll do a Q&A plus a deep dive video on one specific agent that you guys vote on. At 5,000 subscribers, I'll do a live stream power scaling video with the community, and then put out a separate video based on what you guys vote on, as well as my own opinions too. At 10,000 subscribers, I'll do a full-on video detailing everything that I can find in Valorant Lore, which will most likely be over 2 hours. Thank you for your time. Please consider subscribing, and let's get back on track with this topic.
In Bind, there's also a reactor testing a large piece of crystallized radianite. If you look closely, you'll see a small rift appears to be forming, similar to the rift on Ascent. And out of all the playable maps, Ascent seems to be one of the least touched by Kingdom. Maybe because of the damage that Jett's counterpart was able to do, made the public wary of Kingdom's experiments and growing influence. Nonetheless, there is a Kingdom museum dedicated to radianite on the catwalk, as well as a few boxes of radianite littered around the map. Kinda makes me wonder why have such valuable materials just out in the open. Maybe they're just decorations? The same question goes to the ones on Breeze, as well as this massive green radianite sticking out, which players could see before it got closed off, which might explain why Breeze was chosen to be a mining and storage facility for Kingdom. This radianite rich island also makes me think, how long has this material been here for? Surely it's older than the first light. So why has no one thought to use it as energy before then? There's a lot of clues and mysteries around radianite. But first, let's look at Haven. Now transforming into a storage facility for radianite, we can see parts of the map is literally on fire, as well as some ominous lines from Sky and Rays.
This poor place. You used to be so beautiful. Don't worry. I'll send you off with a bang.
I can feel what this place used to be. It's dying. What a damn shame.
Unlike Pearl, where the Kingdom Industries were able to protect Lisbon with a radianite-infused dome to shield it from water. You can even see a statue in mid holding up a sphere to symbolize the Kingdom Industries technology carrying the inhabitants in the middle of the ocean. Near A site, you can see an area with both orange and green radianite boxes, as a way to show us that Pearl holds radianite from both Omega and Alpha Earth. There's also a print that states Kingdom, restoring your reality, as a means to remind their citizens for Kingdom's effort for helping save their city, which would be kinda interesting if Kingdom was responsible for them being underwater in the first place. That's just me speculating though. One thing that doesn't need speculating is the anti-Kingdom sentiment on Split, which is located in Tokyo. Tokyo is also the location of Kingdom's headquarters and their main research lab. Split gives us a brief glimpse into how wide of a grasp Kingdom's corporation is. They have a gift shop, sales departments, business centers, coffee, as well as Kingdom Cola. And from Split, we go to Sunset, where they have another research facility called Kingdom West Facilities. Based in Gekko's stomping grounds of LA, we know they were experimenting on radivores, creatures that can eat radianite, as well as have mutations that seem to be a bit man-made. The only map not hit by Kingdom's graphs is Lotus, which is located in India, once home to the Astral Guardians. In the cinematic, we saw Astra and Harbor enter it with his relic, which might explain why Kingdom has not explored this area yet, despite being rich with radianite too. Lastly, we'll talk about Icebox, which is located in Serbia, Russia. It is a port and research facility. The interesting aspect of Icebox is that it's home to an ancient Japanese ship frozen at the side of the mountain. It is most likely from this ship Kingdom was able to get their hands on samurai armor that were fashioned with the help with radianite. So we can date all the way back to the 17th century of humans using radianite. I think it would be a good time to mention the Valorant agent's connections with Kingdom, since Yoru actually broke into their facility multiple times to steal the armor. While there, Yoru describes his experience.
It's me. I know you told me to leave S-22 alone, but I went anyways. It's freezing. I searched the warship again and found dimensional scarring on the sides. I'm telling you, this didn't sail here from Japan. And the armor. If Kingdom discovered radianite 10 years ago, why is my mask filled with it? There's more to find here. I won't turn my back on this place. You shouldn't either. Brimstone. Something happened at S-22. I was walking the warship again when I felt something different. The dimensional fabric was weaker there, older. I could feel seams that someone left a long time ago. And then I fell into a space that wasn't just A to B. It felt more like now to then. I heard someone calling to me. I didn't have time to answer before the rift closed. But I swear to you, I knew her voice.
Even before this, Yoru had a strong dislike of Kingdom. Probably has something to do with the growing anti-Kingdom sentiment we've seen on Split. However, Brim for a while has had better opinions of Kingdom. Maybe because he used to work for them as a commander in their KSEC division, which is a private security and army division of Kingdom. It was not until episode 7 of Valorant that Brimstone was finally convinced by his teammates that Kingdom did not always have people's best interests at heart, which led him and others to take down their research on radivores. Neon also worked for KSEC. The interesting part about Neon is that her father and mother has connections to Kingdom too. Her father works for them to create support technologies that help Radiants across the world control their powers. His work with Kingdom has helped many, and even to a point that he's been nominated for awards like the Good Samaritan. However, we cannot say the same for Viper, who also worked for Kingdom as a chemist. But one incident changed her life to become someone who's more dark and isolated. Some theorize that it has ties to Omen's current condition. Maybe it was an experiment between Omen and Viper. But no one really knows except for Viper herself. Ever since then, we can tell that she isn't a fan of Kingdom. It's also been theorized and speculated that Omen used to work for Kingdom, but we don't know as what or as who, because his whole history is so clouded. Just like Viper, Killjoy was employed by Kingdom to make gadgets. However, her inventions cause harm to other people. KJ still feels responsible for what her inventions has done to other people. It will be easy to assume that she does not see Kingdom in a great light either. In reality, the majority of people in the Valorant protocol do not like Kingdom. The only exception I can think of is Chamber, who is their weapons designer, and makes him destroying the Radianite collider on Fracture weird. You would think a conflict of interest would play its hand in that situation. Nonetheless, people like Gekko and his creatures aren't a fan of Kingdom, especially since they put his creatures in cages at one point in time. And we know Cypher isn't a big fan of Kingdom's actions on Bind.
What has Kingdom done to this town? However pretty their lies are, they're just sucking my city dry.
Raze is very similar to Cypher. Thanks to the time that Fate blackmailed the agents, we know that Raze has a history with fighting them off in her hometown. And in general, I think Raze just loves fighting Kingdom off in places she believes they don't belong.
Another Kingdom infestation. Well, fine. I'll just make sure to be extra collateral with my collateral damage.
As I mentioned in the Civil War video, Reyna has a great dislike for the corporation, since they have hurt either people or someone close to her.
I remember the machines Killjoy made. What they did to... Never mind. It does not matter.
We know through Fade's effort that Skye was once known as a great reclaimer, and has fought Kingdom whenever they attempted through their influence to hurt the wildlife near her home in Australia. And just like Raze and Skye, Breach also has a history of fighting Kingdom and vandalizing their property, though typically for less noble reasons. He was able to do a raid to collect info for Cypher as well. Lastly, we'll talk about KO, whose name is short for Kingdom Anti-Yield Operative. Through Fade's intel gathering, we know that KO should have not existed, since the project was rejected. Maybe KO was built in secret, or someone in the future found the blueprints and built him anyways. I say this because his body does not have a single Kingdom logo on it. With all that being said, it would be hard to defend Kingdom as anything but the bad guys. They have done good, like the work Neon's father was able to pull off, collaborating with Omega Earth to help solve their radianite issues, and Kingdom Industries making underwater domes to protect cities. But what do you think? Are Kingdom the bad guys? Or is there a lot of gray that makes it hard to classify them as one? Are they truly the final boss that the protocol has to take down? Let me know down below. Till then, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next Valorant Lore video.